why would I want thermal imaging inside of a ghost hunt? You guys should be able to see me in there. So why would I want this inside of a ghost hunt?
Cold senses.
Right, exactly. We're looking for cold spots. So you guys kind of get the gist of that, right? We got hot and cold in here. So you guys should be able to see me, the red, orange, and yellow guy. So that means blue and black are the coldest spots in the frame. We're looking for those blue and black spots to either take shape on their own or start moving on their own. So in a nice warm night like this, no cold spots should actually be moving, you know, logically speaking, right? So we will be recording with this guy. So we're going to do a few starts and stops because as great as the hardware is, this is a FLIR. So this is what firemen would use to actually help save people. This isn't like some kind of phone app. This is a real live attachment. So, oh, nice. So you're already familiar with it. So there's a blue dot bouncing around this screen as well that's going to help you direct your eye when you're watching your video after I release it back to you tomorrow of where the coldest spot is in the frame at that particular moment. So with that said, it's going to go to you because you already know what you're looking at. So with that, I'm going to have you keep the camera horizontal all night long and then keep the camera on your left. Even when I give you the cues for the starts and stops, make sure you start it in this position. Otherwise, because I splice all those videos together and some of them will be upside down and we don't want that. So there you go. That is going to you, sir. One of the coals. I don't know which one it is, but we're going to go with one of the coals. So I'm going to break out both cameras. This one works a little bit differently, a little bit more Ghostbusters-like, right? A little bit more attachments going on with this guy. So this one, oh, it's because we have light sensing. So normally this would be completely black, and of course this is why I have you guys show up at dark, where normally you wouldn't be able to see anything inside of this little tiny GoPro screen. So I would normally turn on all the lights, so that way I have just illuminated 24 infrared lights on this camera. So this is in hopes, like you can't see the lights coming out of the cameras, so the hope here is that we're going to be able to capture something we would normally not be able to see with our own eyes. So see where my senses were going? You're like, it's like, what, I'm not listening with my eyeballs? So with this one, we are going to start the recording because it has been acting up. It's brand new, so it's a little finicky, so we're still getting used to our humidity and those kind of things. So I'm going to get names right. Jasmine. Look at me go. So I already started recording. Make sure it just starts perfect. So you're going to hang on to this handle right here all night long. And again, it's got a little bit of weight to it, so don't be afraid of it. In the event on your screen it says please format SD card, let me know, and we'll format the SD card so we don't lose anything. Yeah. Let's break into spirit boxes. Spirit boxes are what everybody usually wants to come visit me for, because I have 5 different styles and 6 total spirit boxes. I only use one duplicate, so spirit boxes, if you're unfamiliar with these, this is basically a way for us to communicate with the dead. So this is going to sweep through the FM radio stations at a very quick rate. On your TV shows, this is normally just white noise, and then the host will kind of tell you what he thinks he heard in the middle of it, and then try to convince you of the exact same thing by putting it in the middle of the screen. So with that said, this one is slowed down on purpose. I want the radio chatter to come through. None of you are trained to listen to white noise for 2 hours at a time, plus all the history I'm going to give tonight. Somebody's going to fall asleep. So the whole point of it being slowed down is it's a 50-50 shot. If the radio chatter, like song lyrics and DJs, actually slip through, it's a 50-50 shot I can tie to the location of where we are, a person in history we're discussing, or even something going on with one of you guys. It happens all the time. So the cool thing about this one is 2 things. The person using is going to have an earbud in. They're going to be the only person to hear it in real time. It makes it a lot easier for that person to actually hear it in real time, and I'll be writing down whatever they hear. But this one in particular is going to record the entire session, no outside noise. So tomorrow morning, you're going to get this recording back. And I'm going to go through it with a spot check and give you about 15 to 20 more markers of things that I heard, whether they're relevant or not. So the silliest things pop up on here and we don't think that they're relevant. So if we hear drop it like it's hot and welcome to Charleston, I want to know that you guys heard drop it like it's hot and welcome to Charleston. Because again, the word hot in Charleston might actually be tied to the locations of where we are. Do you guys see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Okay, so with that said, Mike, you seemed a little intrigued with this. You comfortable wearing an earbud?
She's not. No, she would probably do that.
Kelly, you all up for this?
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Go ahead.
One of you is going to be getting some type of spirit box. So I don't want earbuds back. Your earwax is gross. So undo the twist tie. Your volume button is right here. So again, I already have it turned all the way down. So once you get it in your ear, find a comfortable spot for the volume. Jamie, I think you're going to get the other one. However, this one's not going to record.
Okay.
So I'm going to be relying on you in real time of whatever you hear so I can write it down. So, again, your earwax is gross. You get to keep that.
Thanks.
Volume is right here. Again, I buy these earbuds in bulk, so I have a giant box of them. I just pull out 2 sets every single night. Let's see.
Something cool.
This spirit box we don't actually have to listen to. That's the beauty of it, because we're all going to be able to interact with this guy. So this guy is going to give us a word in the center of the screen from time to time. So this is what we would call an obulus on your TV shows, if you guys are familiar with the television shows. So it's going to save all of the words and phrases that it pops up with to a list. And it's going to save all of them to a big, lengthy list. Last night we actually had 95 terms and phrases pop up.
Holy cow.
80% of this is garbage. It's not going to mean anything. This is a phone app. Only 5 to 20% of it's actually going to be relevant to the location, a person in history, something going on with one of us. Same principle as all the other spirit boxes. I'm going to clear out the history. So Miss Joyce, all you have to do all night is hang on to this, and I will come to you when I want to see the word list. Is that fair? So, yeah, it's got a little bit of weight to it too. So, let's see.
Yeah.
Call number 2.
That's me.
The call that doesn't have anything yet. How about that?
Sounds good.
So, this spirit box works completely different as well. It's going to sweep through both FM and AM radio stations at the same time. The reason why we want that is because it's trying to eliminate the white noise that is being heard on the 2 red spirit boxes from the ladies that's going in between the radio stations. Hopefully, you're only going to hear words out of this guy. Normally with this spirit box in a 2-hour time frame, we only get about 10 to 12 terms that actually pop up out of it, and they're going to be loud and clear. So with those loud and clear terms, they're usually about 75% accurate to the location, the person, or one of us.
Alright.
So the only thing you need to worry about is how to hold it. The blinking lights mean it's at the top, that this is being held upright. On the right-hand side is the mute button. Right now I'm going to mute it just so I can kind of get through the rest of these devices, because you're not going to have an earbud. It doesn't work that way.
Alright.
So the reason I'm partially giving this to you is because that way he can hear it as well, the other pole, but it's also going to be able to record the audio on his camera. Is that fair?
Sounds
so
good.
I'm sure you 2 of you are going to be sticking together
Yep.
pretty much all night long.
Well, I
So
don't know. He kind of smells.
You might want to push him into a corner and run.
Figure
Got
it out.
it.
I'm just kidding. I love you, man.
Let's see. I know what I'm doing.
If I heard it hit me out, I don't know what I would do.
I'd cry. I'd laugh. That's so weird.
I'd be like,
You're
I
going
gotta
to
sit
be
this down. I gotta
working
get
2 objects for me. The first thing, you guys have probably seen these on television, right? K2 EMF meters. This is going to measure anything electrical, so parking meters, buildings, cell phones, anything like that. We use this one to try to debunk a lot of things. So that means I want to try to prove that it's not a ghost. So we use this one because it has a low wattage, even though it's very impressive. All you have to do with this is let me know what colors you see on it. The other thing you're going to have is a very basic digital camera. Take hundreds and hundreds of pictures. I'm sure you're going to be perfectly
I
fine
was
with
going to
that.
say she's 12, so she's
Yeah,
got
I'm
the-
perfectly fine with that. So, and I normally don't hand this to teenagers because they don't know what it is, you know, because they're so used to using their phones. So again, the big button
Oh my God,
is the
she's
shoot
going.
button. If it shuts off where you can't see all the numbers and everything on here, the button next to the shoot button is going to turn it back on for you. So you have 2 jobs. Look at you. You're welcome. Mike, you seem very technical, sir. No, not at all. We're going to give
Honesty.
you something
I like
a little
honesty.
bit more technical than some of these other devices. So this has an EMF field detector in it as well, just like Jalila's, only it's digital. It's going to be a lot more accurate. So anything above 2.5 on that top number, I want to know what's going on. So that way we can try to debunk it or see if that's actually an anomaly. The bottom is ambient temperature. If pole number 1 finds something on his camera, you and I can debunk it or prove it with the yellow probe at the top, ambient temperature around the antenna. Last thing that it has, which we don't always use, is a REM pod. That means it's going to detect motion near the antenna that I just pulled out. In the event something gets close to it, it's going to go off. I am not touching the antenna right now. Obviously, I am right now. So again, there's different colors and different, levels of beeping in there that we're going to talk about later on. So right now, I just need you to kind of get used to how those numbers move around.
Okay.
All right, everybody's geared up, yeah? All right,
Yes,
Poles
sir.
are in charge. Let me know what happens. I'll see you guys in 2 hours. Kelly's like, wait a minute, hang on, don't go anywhere. So,
Oh.
What do these numbers mean on?
those are all the radio stations.
So it's just going through the
Yep.
stations up and up.
Yep, it's just sweeping through them. It's going to do it hundreds of times tonight, just so you know.
Are we supposed to be turning this up?
I would say you have one earbud in, which is good, so you can play with the volume up and down as much as you want to. Yours is the one recording, so you cannot mess with the recording. Even if you have it on mute, as I'm kind of giving you the history of the space, it's okay. It's recording it even Steven. I don't know how it does it, but it's why we have it. So that way you guys can actually play with it. So,
And we're telling you if we hear something.
of course. And you're going to see, like, I'm going to be bouncing around with everybody, seeing what's going on with their devices, so that way I can kind of get basically a scheme of what's going on in that particular space. So let's talk about why we started here. I know you guys have lots of questions, which is good. So you're going to keep me on my toes. I have a feeling, especially the coals. Anybody else get that feeling that the coals are going to keep me on my toes? Yeah, I thought so. I know, right? I just called them right out, like, just like that. And if my 15-year-old daughter was still here, she'd be doing the exact same thing. So, Big John's. Of course, there's a reason why I had a start here. So Big John's, this used to be owned by a football player. His name was Big John Kennedy. And you guys see why it was named that now? It was his bar. He owned the place. So he played for the 1947 New York Giants. Whenever I'm giving you the history of a location, I will do my best to slow down on keywords for all of the spirit boxes in play tonight. For this location, it would actually be 47 New York Giants and anything relatable to the name John or a bar, obviously. But here's what actually went down here and why it's actually haunted. John used to sit in the back of the bar and would let the bartender know if the cadets coming over from the Citadel, if they were old enough to drink or not. And one night, two guys come in, they're not old enough to drink. So he has the bartender throw them out. They leave pretty mad. They come back the next night and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Yeah, John sees what's going on. He slams down his beer, he gets up, and starts beating the heck out of these guys, just pounding them right into the floor. A couple of gunshots go off. John gets grazed in the neck with one of the bullets, and the bullet lands behind him in the wall. After he's been shot, he's been the only one that's gotten shot, by the way. He gets up, goes back to the bar, and tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the two guys on the floor, and ambulance. So, normally if I tell you the building's haunted, you're obviously thinking of some kind of tragic death.
Can I pause
that
you really
occurred.
quick? Do I have to unmute this?
Not yet.
Okay.
You're good. Good question.
Sorry.
See there? No, you seem a little nervous, Cole. You all right?
Well, it started blinking and the lights were going off, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, it's going to blink the whole night.
All right, nice.
Because that's the way it's sweeping. So, normally you would think that there's a major tragic death here that occurred, but what's haunting this location is the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. I say allegedly because the new renovation of Big John's that we're looking at could have filled it in, but that also means Big John's blood is still in the building. People that sit in the front of this bar when it's open, it's just Monday, it's the only reason why it's closed, they tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or headache. This is kind of your heated warning. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to be dealing with paranormal activity tonight. I don't know how it's going to affect anybody, but if anybody feels any of those symptoms, I need to know immediately. Like, it's a big deal. So again, this is probably the scariest thing I'm going to tell you all night long, because it deals with your own health. So, let's move on, because all of you are really looking at me now like, what did we sign up for? So, same building. Have you guys been taking Charleston history tours around town, other ghost tours?
Nope.
anything?
Nope.
Not one.
First time
One.
here.
All right. So
Got
the
here
rest
now.
of you, yes, you guys are a no. So basically everybody else but you knows that there's been a big earthquake here in 1886, right? Because we all talk about it. This building is allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. The white mantle you see in the middle of the building also goes around on the East Bay Street side. A piece of it broke off in the middle of the earthquake, hit somebody in the back of the head, killed him, and they say you can see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street. But I say apparently and allegedly a lot with that story because I don't have any proof. It's just a great segue so nobody's thinking about getting sick on the tour as we're going throughout our night. Now, is everybody ready to go ghost hunting and learn more about those devices?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to actually go this way too, though. You okay? You haven't said a word since we were hooked up. All right, let's do this.
That's how he operates.
Let's follow everybody else. Stay in the back.
I'll caboose it. Dude, I'm getting bit.
Do you want bug spray?
Oh my gosh,
Do you have bug spray? Oh my gosh.
I appreciate you so much, you don't even know.
Yo, it's my ankles too. Here, hurt.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Oh boy.
Hit the back window. Thank you so much. That's a lifesaver.
Thank you.
I'm
Yes,
first
I
and
did.
foremost, I just don't feel like I have all my people. Maybe because I was expecting 10 tonight. So we have 3 cameras in play tonight, just so everybody knows. We're going to be in certain spaces where there's going to be cars parked and where people are going to be walking through. We don't take pictures or video of people's vehicles or of people walking through. At times I may say act casual or Andy's coming. And it basically means you're basically going to be dropping your camera. You're going to basically clear it out your side. Oh, you're playing with a cell phone, nice and easy. And of course, really, you're just going to stop taking pictures. But tourists hold cameras anyway, so you're actually fine. So just so you guys know. But welcome to your first stop. We're not going to stay here for very long. It's just so you guys can learn more about your devices. So the history here is really simple. First, you need to know where you're at. This is the Big Red Barn. This is where we keep the horses for the carriage rides. You guys can probably smell them. I can't because I'm out here 7 nights a week. So the history here is really simple. This is the same red barn that held horses that had delivery horses for milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. So obviously keywords here are going to be delivery, milk, eggs, and anything relatable to a stable. So let's talk about those spirit boxes and hopefully clear up any questions you have in your brain. Spirit boxes, most people when they get a communication device, they all want to ask the same question. What do you think that question is?
When am I going to hear something?
Kind of. Anybody else?
Are there ghost animals?
Normally everybody wants to ask, they want to ask if anybody's here. So you're technically right. Is anybody here? So if Kelly hears no, that means somebody's here. So we are not going to be asking yes and no questions all night long. Even if you're a skeptic, which I don't want to know if you are. You're all here to have fun. And you're just here for, kind of the giggles of things. We're all here for some kind of paranormal proof, one way or the other. And most of us are curious. So again, we're going to be asking very specific questions throughout the night. Certain locations, I'll say it's kind of a free-for-all. You already know the history, see what we can get out of it. But a lot of these locations, you're going to see, like, I'm going to give you specific questions because I get those answers commonly, all the time. So, in a space like this, I would normally tell people who've never used a spirit box before to ask a question you already know the answer to. Like, if somebody's here, tell me what color the Big Red Barn is. Obviously, we are looking, because Joyce has a word list, and listening for the color red. The rest of you are using basically song lyrics and DJs to convey messages back to us, and the color red, or the word red, might not be available to that song lyric or DJ to get a direct answer. But fire truck, blood, heart, those three things are specifically red. I would take that as an acceptable answer. If somebody's here, tell me what color the Big Red Barn is, blood. I'm good with that. However, most of the night, I'm going to require that there are at least 2 happenings among 1 or more devices to be able to verify what's going on. Let me provide another example. Let's say Joyce's word list actually gives us the word art while we're standing right here. Doesn't mean anything by itself. But then Cole hears the number 40 on his. Put them together, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. You see where we're going to be putting the clues together, where I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you to kind of piece all of this together in each location? And I'm always honest with you. Before we leave a space, I'll tell you if it was light or a holy cow moment. I'm pretty sure you guys are all going to know that it was a holy cow moment before we leave a space, just so you know. But again, I think everybody has a much better gist of how those spirit boxes are going to be working tonight, and you are listening for song lyrics, DJs, and commercials. So again, no matter how silly you think it is, we never know what one key term out of that is actually going to be relevant. And again, with another verifier. Just to kind of prove that point, a lot of these stories tonight are going to be from the 17 and 1800s. These people all have the same names. We need to know who the heck we're talking to besides the 2 Poles. So there's going to be lots of Charleses, lots of Elizas, Georges, those kind of things. We need to know which one of those people we're dealing with. And there's always other clues wrapped around one of those names. So you're going to see that as we kind of move through the night. Now, cameras. Cole, as far as yours, you're going to try to do 2 things for us. You're going to try to keep, I know I told you not to film people, but I definitely want you to try to keep one of us in view. Reason why is we're going to have the warmest thing out here, our skin temperature. It's going to be warmer than the ambient temperature. That's going to give you an array of color on your video, so that way it's going to be much easier to find cold spots.
Okay.
Um,
The second thing you're going to try to do, which is weird because I normally don't hand that camera to somebody taller than me, you're going to try to keep the sky out of view. The reason for that is because the blue dot that's trying to find the coldest spot in the frame is going to automatically default to the sky because there's nothing to measure up there. It's looking for a surface. Okay. So again, do your best. I know you're much taller than me, but again, you're going to see certain spaces where that's going to be very difficult to do.
Okay.
Yasmin, you're going to basically be a nice, slow camera person as we're going throughout the entire night. And you're still recording, which is amazing because I'm just really glad that we don't have to reformat it. I think the only person I really need to spend a little bit more time with will be Mike, but I'm going to do that at the next location just so I can show him how to use that motion sensor. But I say we get away from football players and ponies and deep dive into history. What do you think?
Amen.
All right, let's do it.
Can I unmute this yet?
Yeah, go for it. Let's do it.
Can you turn it up at all?
This is gonna do this all night.
I guess.
Well, you guys aren't walking around like a damn freak show. You said act casual. Hello. This thing's going crazy.
She's got it in her ear. Ask me if it turns up at all.
Does this like get louder?
There you go. All right.
What's your name again? I'm
Nick.
sorry. Nick. I've had 2 or 3 words already.
So, let me show you how to get to
Nosebleed
them.
and stroke.
There's a way to get
Minority
to it.
was on there first.
You want to go this way. And now we can see everything that shows up. So we have dive, time, moment, nosebleed.
I don't know what I'm looking for.
I know. It popped up.
Huh?
That's how you get the word
Supposed to
time.
do.
So again,
Stand.
most of that's going to be garbage. We're going to throw it away. However, I am going to give you guys the full list because sometimes those words are relevant to somebody else in the group and they didn't get a chance to see the full word list. That's why I give you the full list back. So, I just want to point out, you have no idea why there's another tour up here. There's a reason why I start this far uptown to kind of keep away from all of the other hustle and bustle, so you guys actually have a little bit of privacy when you're doing this. So, anyway, it was just weird to see another tour here. I didn't mean to break like concentration. But welcome to a parking lot. You guys made it. Congratulations. So, that was a joke, everybody. You're supposed to lighten up a little bit. So, this space used to be something, which is why we're here. This space used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion site. So their mansion actually sat in the front of this space. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant over there and came all the way across. And then in the back was where the servant and slave quarters were for the home. Just so you guys have a layout of the land of where you're standing. So, first off, spirit boxes, I am not going to be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. You're going to get the answers from your spirit boxes, and I will withhold information on purpose. Again, no matter how silly you think it might be, it might actually be relevant to our space. So those of you listening in, just so you know. But let's go through what actually went on here. So Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Charleses. Do you guys see why I need the secondary verifiers now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought so. Much easier to see it when you can actually get to a space. But the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a pretty big deal for South Carolinians, but I hate politics more than anybody here. So we're going to move on. So with that, hopefully Mike, you're not a politician.
Not at
Just
all.
kind of give me that weird glare. Like, oh man, I better turn my head. But anyway, so Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards, not the colonial times that she came from. So again, if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, you're not going to hear numbers like 12 and 14. So just kind of putting that out there and trying to help you out a little bit. But she married Charles because her father over in England thought he was dying. And he wanted to see all of his children one last time. So he's trying to bring all of his kids home, and she didn't think he was dying. So she stayed put and got married. It was 1744. You don't marry somebody for a green card or citizenship because you're a foreigner. You marry for love. So she was right. Dad didn't die right away. And he starts sending her gifts from England to this space of where we're standing right now. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. Now, indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. That's how we use it today. However, Eliza had no idea what to do with these seeds when she got them. So she had to learn from her servants and her slaves on how to keep it cultivated. It's not always hot here, folks. So if you're not from here, it does get hot, but winters are cold. So again, once she figures it out with her team, she actually moves it to another plantation, calls her father and says, rice plantations are actually going downhill, Dad. We can make a killing with this indigo. Now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times, which is something absolutely unheard of. So, that's her business. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why everybody's here, I'm guessing. Jamie's like, yeah, can you please tell us some weird stuff about Eliza, please? So, Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles, back to back. So, Miss Joyce, I want you to ask Eliza, when we separate and kind of work the space a little bit, what... Both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. So that way we know which Eliza we're dealing with. Ask her her maiden name. Where's my other spirit boxes? So, cool. I already told you there's 1 child. So there were more than that. I want you to ask how many and what their names were. but that's it. The reason being is there's a tragedy among those children, and if we poke the bear, meaning Cole, if he pokes the bear, all activity will stop. Do we have anything going on with your device over there, Tallulah?
No.
Nothing at all? And Mike, have you seen any readings yet?
I had
Okay.
Stone and Star.
Stone and Star. I was mainly interested in their readings because
Oh, okay.
they
I
have the
will
similar
check.
style of device.
Okay.
But don't poke the bear. See if you can get answers from those two questions. What are
Alright.
their names and how many kids did you have?
All right. Which one do you want me to ask first?
Whichever one you want. Once we separate, I'm going
Figure
to
it
go.
out.
Jamie,
Yeah.
I want you to stick to what happened to the mansion, and if you get an answer, what year or what date did that actually occur? So again, very specific questions. You guys all noticed by now that none of these are yes or no questions, right?
Got it.
Kelly, I'm putting it all on you.
Huh?
You get to ask about her death. How did she die? How old she was? Where she's buried? And what president was a pallbearer at her funeral? So, those of you with one earbud, so Jamie and Kelly, you guys can share that other earbud with another person in your party if you'd like. So, Mike, obviously you're the other candidate. You're stuck listening to it anyway. But we are going to spread out in here a little bit. But with those video cameras, please, we're going to stay within the confines of these walls. Luckily, we have a lot of space to work with, and I only see four cars in here. So just don't go in between vehicles. Don't film cars. Don't take pictures of cars. But I definitely want to see if there's any readings coming out of yours. So Jalila, you should be walking around, looking at seeing what colors are going to pop up. Mike, I need to work with you firsthand to show you more about that REM pod. But everybody kind of, let's start exploring the space a little bit. Let's see what's going on. Turn those spirit boxes way up, unmute yours, and then I'm going to be working with Miss Joyce next so I can see what other terms are coming up on that word list. But I'm going to work with Mike first, all right? All right, let's spread out. Let's do this.
Over here, this corner.
All right.
Dude, I'm all about this.
Do I have to say her name?
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know her name.
Oh,
Ali? No. Should I just ask her how many kids she has?
Let's just. I'm all about this shit, bro.
All right.
Stand back a little
So
bit.
do I ask her how many kids she has?
Yeah. So,
How many kids do you have?
well, let's see if there's anybody here first, right?
What do you mean?
Is there anybody here? Like any spirits or anything?
You're not supposed to ask that.
I mean, maybe you got to make sure.
What are the names of your kids? Wait, what's her name?
How many kids did you have?
How many kids did you have?
Put it closer to your ear so you can hear it. I'll stand here.
How many kids did you have? I don't think she's over here.
You gotta patience. Four. I heard four. I swear to God, I heard four. No, I had the chills. I swear to God, I heard four. What were the names of your kids?
What were the names of your kids?
Elizabeth? How many kids did you have?
How many kids did you have? How many kids did you have?
I swear to God, I heard four.
What were the names of your kids?
What were the name of your four children? How many sons did you have? How many little boys did you have?
Let's walk over there.
Okay. Right
Is
here.
her name Elizabeth?
I don't remember. I heard Elizabeth. I swear to God.
Elizabeth. Or Elise. Whatever your name is. How many kids did you have?
What was your name that you lived here?
No. How many kids did you have?
Ash.
Heard. All right.
How many kids did you have living in your mansion with you?
Three?
Three. I heard three.
I heard three.
I heard three.
right.
Yo, did that give you chills or what?
What was the names of your kids?
What were the names of the children in your house?
I can't hear it.
What were the names of the... How many sons did you have? Are you still here with us?
What were the names of your kids? I'm not getting anything.
You just gotta listen, dudes.
I can't make out what it's saying.
I heard 3. I heard 3
I
or 4.
heard definitely 3.
I heard 4 earlier, so it's 3 or 4. How many... I didn't hear that. What were the names of your children?
I can't make out what this thing's saying.
I heard 3 or 4 for the kids.
Okay. Which one was it?
One
heard
said 4,
4.
one said 3.
Yeah.
But I also can't really make out what this thing's saying.
And I heard Elizabeth for one of them.
4 is the correct answer for the number of children, and Elizabeth is actually Eliza's real name, her full name. She went by Eliza. Her real name is Elizabeth.
Holy shit.
That's
So-
crazy.
But yeah, it's gonna be hard to make this thing
Yeah.
out. That's the point of it.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like,
So, but you know, the fact that you're telling me you're having a hard time, that's a good thing with this one. I don't want you to hear like every little thing that pops
Okay.
out of it. I want you to, you're only going to get 10 or 12 things the whole night with me that you're going to actually be able to understand what it says. So far you actually have 2 somewhat relevant terms, and one being a direct answer to one of your questions. So,
Both of them were...
yeah.
But
I asked-
Elizabeth is not,
Well, I asked what were the names of her children, and I heard Elizabeth.
yeah.
So her
That's
name
not
was
one.
her
Gotcha.
name was what'd they go? What'd she go by?
Eliza.
Eliza.
Right?
She went by Eliza.
Eliza.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no J in it. Everybody tries to do that because we're so used to Elijah.
Yeah,
Right.
Eliza.
So we got to figure out her kids' names.
Kids' names.
All
Now
right,
that
well-
you know how many, go after the kids' names.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
How many-
Hold
how
on.
many-
Hold on. Eliza.
I need to stand kind of in front of you.
Eliza. How many kids? Oh, sorry. Eliza. What were your kids' names?
Oh, wait, let's stand over here so we're not by the cars. Yeah?
Isn't that creepy, bro?
What were the names? How many?
Hold on. She's talking.
Shakira.
I said Shakira over there.
Ew. Stop. Bro, stop.
All right, Eliza. What were your kids' names?
What were the names of the children that you had living in your house with you?
Let's go over here. A little bit. Eliza, what are your 4 kids' names?
Well, I'm in.
This is crazy.
It's so weird. There was
Did I not-
Shakira's playing. Turn towards this one.
Eliza, what was the name of your 4 kids?
How many daughters did you have? Eliza, how many
Let's go to
daughters
her
did you have?
front of her house. She's got the gate,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I heard James.
Did you hear James? Here, let's get over here.
Eliza, hey. What were the name of your 4 children?
Would you like to tell us the names of your children? Yeah, I heard yeah. What were the names of the children? I heard 3 again.
Three's not relevant.
I know, but I heard 3 again. I swear.
What was that? Hannah?
No, I don't know.
Eliza, what were the names of your 4 children?
Wait. How many daughters did you have? What did she have? I asked that like 6 times.
3.
She had 3.
One of 3 or 4 daughters.
How many sons did you have?
Eliza, how many sons did you have?
Eliza, how many sons did you have?
Eliza. Elizabeth. What were the names? 4 children.
I heard yeah after you said that, bro. I swear to God, I'm getting chills right now. I promise you.
This is crazy.
Oh yeah. Shakira again. Stop.
I said that over there. I said that over there.
How many kids did you have, Eliza? What were the names of the children?
Let's go over there.
Okay. I'm gonna record you. That's so strange that Shakira just played 3 times.
And I said, you remember you?
Yes. That's so freaking. That's so weird. All right, right here.
Eliza. Eliza, what is the names of your 4 children? I don't think she wants to tell us.
Eliza, how many sons did you have?
I hear 1.
I don't know. How many sons did you have, Eliza?
That was a good one.
4 kids.
4 kids.
Dude.
No.
Stop.
No.
Stop. Yo.
Did you hear that?
Stop. Stop. Dude. I got the chills.
We got to clear 4 kids.
4 kids.
And then she kept saying, we kept hearing the number 3.
Yeah, so I asked her how many daughters she had. Did she
Is
have
it
3
3?
daughters?
No.
We kept hearing the number 3.
I said how many daughters she had. She kept saying 3.
And then she said, literally clear, it was 4 kids.
That was so. I got the chills, dude. What
And
the
ever since
hell?
we said Shakira over there,
Yes,
Shakira's
it's
played
like
4
3
times on
Yeah,
here.
4 times.
Well, it's
now.
going to sweep through all of those stations pretty quickly, so you
But
might
what's the
hit the
chan-
song.
What's the
What's the
chances we hear
chances that
Shakira
it's
that I said it
Shakira
before this
4
even started?
times? Shakira songs aren't that
But
long. It's the
what-
same song in the same spot.
But my point is, if it's in the same spot, I would be a little concerned. But what I was going to bring up is that those radio stations are going to sweep through at least, you know what I mean, like multiple
Yeah.
times. You might hear, the Shakira song at the beginning, and then you might hear it in the middle as it loops through again.
No, we
and
definitely
you might
heard
hear
it different, the same
It's
spot.
the same spot. It's when it's like right in the beginning.
Okay.
Each
I don't-
Shakira
I'm not a
song.
Shakira fan, so I wouldn't.
It's
Right.
definitely wherever, whenever.
No. It's Shake Your Hips.
Hips don't lie.
Hips don't lie. Yeah.
Definitely is.
So strange. That was so weird though. That like dropped my heart when it said 4 kids.
You
Clear as
heard
day.
Hips Don't Lie?
Hips don't lie.
Yes.
That's the phrasing you heard.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's
that's
the
what the
song
song
is.
is.
That's the name of the song.
But you didn't hear the lyric.
I
No.
heard the.
I
did
heard
we-
it says Shakira. Like
Shakira.
right when the guy was saying
yeah.
Shakira.
But it's
each
the
time.
song's "Hips Don't Lie."
Yeah.
I'm not going to take that.
Okay.
It would actually have to be the lyric before I would be excited, and I'll explain more.
Okay.
Okay.
Once we.
So the song doesn't mean anything.
it's not like I don't always want to know who the artist is or what the name of the song was. I want to know what lyric did you hear.
Oh,
so if you
okay.
heard the Bee Gees song of Staying Alive, I want to know that you heard Staying Alive.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Received. Okay.
All right, I got you now.
So again, I don't want to put a stretch on it, but again,
We'll
hips
keep
don't
listening.
lie would be relevant if the phrase hips don't lie was what you heard.
Okay.
Okay. I got
Makes
you.
sense now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Stop. All right. I'm gonna keep you right there.
All right. Elizabeth, we're back.
We are two really nice guys, and we would love to talk to you, Eliza, okay? I just want to know the names of the children that you had. I keep on feeling like I hear Zach Brown Band.
Elizabeth, what are the names of your 4 children?
It's over here.
Okay, Elizabeth, what are the names of your 4 children?
Elizabeth, what were the names of the children that you had? Eliza, what were the names of your children?
Together, like we got a lot going on. Coles, come on over.
Oh, all right.
Sorry. Sorry, I didn't know we were wrapping up.
No, you're good. You're good. I want to actually, because there's a lot going on. I want to put all these clues together for you, so you guys can actually see how this is actually going again. That's why you guys keep me around. All right. So, highest rating we had was 12.8, right?
Correct.
So, and we also had about a 15 come out of Jalila's. So, again, these are kind of in sync with each other. Just so I would like, let's go ahead and put your videos. So, go ahead and hit the red square on yours, and then you want to, there's a circle on the top of the GoPro. You just want to tap it. I already tapped it, so it should shut off.
Yep.
Perfect. Good deal.
I feel you. You too.
You don't know.
Because I'll let you know whenever you want to know what it is.
All right, so first thing is, Mike, go ahead and hit that white button in the back, because this is considered a quiet area, so it's why people use earbuds with the spirit boxes and Coles is already down. So let's go through what you guys actually heard along the way here, and then I'll explain where we're at. So what did we hear?
Duck,
Okay.
horses, witness, coming.
What was the last one?
Coming.
Next, Kelly, what do you got?
I heard that coming.
Okay.
Pour through the earth. Pour through the earth.
Door to the earth.
Window.
Stop. Stop, please.
Okay.
That's creepy.
Those are the only two?
Yeah.
But that's
That's
good
crazy.
stuff. The window was actually heard in this location last night. I still don't know what it means, but now we're going to dive into it now that it's been 2 consecutive nights.
Right here it says window.
Interesting. Jamie, what do you got on yours?
Heard looking for something. Which I thought was, you know,
Stop.
something.
That's freaky.
And I heard an O'Reilly commercial. Like,
Wow.
It's good.
That's good?
That's not good. That's not good.
That's not good. That is not good.
It is good. So, those of you with cameras,
So-
here's what I'm going to tell you. Go ahead.
So it says it's recording, but it's stuck at 1 second.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the timestamp. As long as that orange square is there, we're good to go.
Okay.
So, last night was very uncanny in this location. Let me tell you why. I had one skeptic on my group that did not tell me she was a skeptic until the end of the night. So as we were leaving, I had somebody who was very much in tune, who actually brought their own dowsing rods. They were leaving and they saw somebody up there on the left-hand side of the alley as we were exiting. He came up afterwards to tell me about it. So as they're telling me, they're like, you know who that person was, like at the end, why they would be there, like it's not really supposed to be a hangout, right? And I was like, I didn't see anybody. And I had a full group of 9 people. 7 other people didn't see them either. But my skeptic did. She's like, I saw that person. He had like a white shirt on, right? And it was kind of puffy sleeves. And she's like, exactly. They were the only 2 people to have seen them. I reviewed all the footage and I found nothing. I found no cold spots. I found nothing on the
Like
full
that
spectrum
white shirt,
camera.
puffy sleeves?
Nothing.
Not like that white shirt, puffy sleeves?
No, that's a T-shirt.
I was just making sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to get them, any confused here.
Whatever they saw, or whoever they saw, like that woman who second, she's like, yeah, I saw that person too, came up to me after the tour, and she's like, I just want to let you know, I'm not a believer in any of this, but yet I'm the only other person that saw that person that she saw. So, again, take that for what it's worth. Again, very weird. We don't normally, how do I put this? I don't normally have those type of occurrences during my tours. Like if somebody says that they saw somebody or that they feel something, I can't prove any of it. I rarely have a secondary verify as another person say, yes, I saw that person too. I didn't know who they were either. I thought the same thing you did. So just take that for what it's worth. So, where are we? When we cross that last crosswalk coming down East Bay Street, that's where the original Charlestown walls used to be. Charleston used to be called Charlestown, which means you are standing on one of the first streets we ever had. I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived down here. I'll be super impressed. It's not a long list. The funny thing about that, I'm sorry, Joyce, did you have anything pop up on yours?
Yeah. Let's see. I have AIM, and then rehabilitation, then TAPE.
You got nothing on. Oh,
Oh, and terribly. I'm sorry.
terribly.
Yeah.
Of course, it says terribly. Of course it does. But that list of names, I normally get the same 2 names over and over and over again. So, and again, it's not a lengthy list of people that actually lived here, but those 2 names are Benjamin and John. Now, if you're thinking John is a very common name, and you're absolutely right. There were 4 different Johns that lived down here over a 60-year time span, but I keep getting the same John. How do I know? His last name will come through. Johnson. Yes, his name was John Johnson. Yes, Johnson. So, again, with the name O'Reilly, I can't prove that it's on that list yet because I don't have it memorized, but I'm definitely going to look. That's why I said, oh, we have a name. At least that's good. But I get those same names every 6 to 7 weeks. There's a theory behind that, of course. Let's go through it. You're standing on Belgian blocks. These blocks are actually, some people would call cobblestone, but they're actually made of granite. Now, most of you seem like you're into the paranormal, at least know some of the terminology. So you've heard the term limestone before, and it's said to stir up activity. Well, that's because it comes straight from the earth and holds an electrical charge. Granite is not supposed to hold an electrical charge at all. So we're going to actually do a little experiment. Mike, put your device right on the ground. Pick a brick and put it right on top of it and just leave it there. Let me know how high those numbers go if we get anything at all. Now, I would expect anything up to like a 1.1-ish, just because that's natural EMF from the earth. Now, we are in the middle of that loop. Again, I told you I get those names every 6 to 7 weeks. We're in weeks 3, 4 right now. So I wasn't expecting you guys to actually hear it. But again, I never know what's actually going to pop up because I will get other names of people that lived here in the same time frame. So Benjamin and John lived here in 1801. That's 2 out of 5 people. Every once in a while, a third name, Jane, will be heard. That's a 3rd person that lived here in 1801. Then David will show up. That's a 4th person out of 5 of people that lived here in 1801. Again, are we getting any numbers on there at all?
Just what you would expect.
Just the expectation. Okay, we're going to leave it there for another minute. Before people lived here. Now, by the way, I have nothing significant about 1801, Benjamin, or John, other than the fact that I keep getting the same names over and over again, and what we're dealing with here is called the stone tape theory. Now, we have been doing this experiment, what we're doing right now, for the past, I'd say, 2.5, 3 weeks, because I've really been deep diving into this. At certain nights, just last night we had a 9.7, and last week or the week before that was about an 11.8. So again, from a brick that we're not supposed to be getting electrical charges from at all. We call that the stone tape theory. The stone tape theory basically says that these bricks are hanging on to the consciousness of the memories of the things that occurred here because they've been here for hundreds of years, and just replaying it back to us through different devices of what we're actually using. Hence why I don't normally use dowsing rods and that kind of thing on a tour with you guys. So the fact that you're not getting anything, or you haven't shouted out that we're getting anything significant, I'm going to have you pick up the device because it looks like it's just hovering.
So is it, with that theory, is it possible that that brick that he set it down doesn't have any correlation to anything?
It's a good possibility. You know what's weird is on the word list that Joyce is using, a term came through it last week that I didn't even know what it was. I'm an English major and I have a master's degree in creative writing, and I've never even seen this word before. I can't even know if I can pronounce it. It was caesarium. It's a mineral that can be found in granite. It's basically what is used in GPS units and cell phones to actually kind of line up with the satellites and that kind of thing. I have no idea what this stuff is, but it's supposed to hold an electrical charge, and it moves at a very rapid rate. So I'm basically gauging the temperature pieces on this tonight too. You'll see in your real-time notes, like I'm keeping track, like they had no EMF spikes from the millimeter on this specific night. And then on the nights that it was very humid. So again, I'm kind of taking all of those things into play to see if it actually has something to do with that as well. Before people lived here, the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here, hence the name Lodge Alley. Now, if I do bring this up, a lot of times we will get terms like symbols, Freemason, Mason, brick, obviously anything dealing with the Freemasons, but the term Illuminati has been heard on the red spirit boxes on multiple occasions. So, and verified, just so you know. First off, I'm going to ask you, who the hell is talking about the Illuminati on the radio? Because that's where those words are coming from. And second, why am I only hearing it while we're in this space? So again, take that for what it's worth. 6 times in 2021, and so far 3 times we've heard it this year alone. So again, very odd. The fact that the term, and you have to chuckle every time you hear the word Illuminati coming out of a spirit box. Like, really? We're going to go into conspiracy theories now? But again, I linger here on purpose. I've been running to run this experiment from night after night, just to kind of see what's going on here. We're going to go up to another alley. However, I cannot take you all the way through it. Why? I've been kicked out. That's the fun part of the story. Why did I get kicked out? Because it's residential at the end. So you'll hear that story of why once we get there, but you will see other tours going down halfway and coming out. It's not fair for my groups of 10 to try to work around 20 to 60 people trying to investigate a space this big, because it is an active area, an intelligent spirit, like what we were dealing with the Pinckney Mansion site, just a little while ago. But we are going to be relatively close to that site through the rest of our time together. So hopefully we will get more things wrapped to that story through the rest of the evening, not just as I'm telling the story. So as we exit this alley, we're going to be cutting through a neighborhood to get to that alley. So videos, you will stop when we exit. So that way you're not recording anybody's house. Jalila, as we exit, we're going to actually let you lead the way. There's a great shot. If you stay to the right of the alley, you'll be able to see St. Philip's steeple off in the distance. We're going to see what a great photographer you are and have you take a great shot of the steeple. And then you're going to kind of wait for us all while the garbage is in the way. Nobody wants to see the garbage. But those of you with cameras, before you turn your cameras off, just do a quick turnaround and get the length of the alley. We do capture a lot of orbs with yours while we're in this location. And I'm also curious about this guy in the white shirt. I don't know who the hell he is. I want to see if it's my Benjamin or John. But again, we definitely want to continue filming until we get to the edge. We're going to definitely continue to ignore any kind of EMF readings. So Mike and Jalila, we're going to be walking on some major streets again. And then, of course, spirit boxes, I definitely want you guys tuning in and listening in. So let me know what you guys hear once we get to Philadelphia Alley. Let's go see if we can capture it.
Can we turn it on now or?
You can actually unmute until we get to the edge. And then we'll be heading through that neighborhood, so you'll have to mute back up again.
Oh, sounds good.
There you go. This shot right here.
Oh, okay. Wow. Make it good, dude. Ooh, skills. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Going through there, they did not get paid to get filmed by my tour. So again, we're just going to hopefully capture something along the way here and have other points of audio for the actual history of the location. So this is Philadelphia Alley. It's easy for me to remember because that's where Eliza Lucas is actually buried. But it used to be called Dueller's Alley. So we all tell the story of one specific duel because we can actually prove that it actually happened. So, I obviously tell the story a little bit differently because you are ghost hunting. This is not your normal campfire ghost story. So, here's how this one's going to go. There's a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here because his fiancée Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents, and basically she has an attorney that's helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that the doctor is just after Amanda's money, so he tells her to get rid of the doctor. The doctor, Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd, in case you guys didn't hear that full name when the car went by, he actually moves to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. As he's coming into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a very good start to his stay in Charleston. But somebody was walking by, local. His name was Ralph Isaacs. Stop on Ralph because Ralph actually has the same initials as where the doctor came from. You're ghost hunting. Initials mean something. This is R.I. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. I just gave you the two main characters, so we always need that verifier so we know who it belongs to. Just so you know, I see it all the time. So Ralph says, dude, you don't want to stay here. He's got a gunman inside. He's going to try to kill you. It's not going to be good for you. But I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them, and you'll be safe. You'll be good to go. The doctor takes him up on the offer, and the two become friends. Now, the longer the doctor stays here, his practice starts to take off. He's making his own money now. Amanda's moving down soon. So he actually becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. I'm going to stop there again, because every haunted city you will ever visit has a cliched whistling ghost. I can guarantee it. I actually have proof of this one. So, let's finish off what actually happened down here. Him and Ralph go see plays together, but they cannot sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money than Ralph. So they talk about the plays on the way home. One night they go see William III from Shakespeare, and they're walking on their way back home, and they start arguing over the new actress that was in the play. The doctor thought she was fantastic, Ralph not so much. It gets even more heated when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. They go their separate ways. Ralph, being from here, has friends at the newspaper. Goes to his friends at the paper, puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a jerk move. The doctor sees the ad, rebuttals with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. We're going to settle this once and for all, meaning somebody's going to die. So they come down, they take their 10 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happens during a duel. But Ralph has his one shot, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. So the doctor doesn't die either. He drops to the ground, his friends pick him up, carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. You have to remember this guy's a doctor. He won't try to take out the bullet himself. So the campfire part of the story is that as you walk into the alley, you can actually hear the whistles from the doctor. It is a very quiet space, even though it's 3 blocks away from one of our busiest streets of East Bay. And they also say you can hear gunshots based on the duels that actually occurred down there. Now, do I have proof of the gunshots? No. But I do have proof of the whistling. If you're going to go down there, because remember, I can't take you all the way through there, and turn on your voice recorders on your phones to see if the whistling actually pops through, just listen to it later. But I do want you to keep in mind that every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street on the other side is going to throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. We're going to end right up there where that big street light is. And my garage is right there, which means I have to pass the alley every night. So every night I throw a whistle right down the alley. And if my daughter's on the tour, we race to see who's going to throw the whistle first. It's just a fun little game that we have. But I used to have whistling from the voice recorders of when I used to go all the way through this alley. So here's how I got booted out of here, because that's the only thing Jasmine's interested in right now. So with that, here's how I got booted out, because it's actually relevant to where we're going next. This space didn't always come all the way through to Cumberland Street. It was actually blocked off, which means the bricks on the other side are older. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child and fingerprint swipes at the end. Now, was it something that we were going down there to investigate? No. Obviously, you've seen I'm very much into history, and it shows how far we've come. It really does. However, everybody wants to stand outside of it with an EMF meter or a spirit box or something, and November 26th of 2020, that's exactly what happened. My entire group of 10 decided to huddle around that one brick with the handprint in it. It's outside of a gentleman's dining room window of his beautiful mansion. He was not happy with that. I was in the wrong. I wasn't supposed to be down there. Again, new guy on the block, so that's kind of where things were going. So the next day was Thanksgiving. I did not have a tour that night. It was November 27th. So I worked in retail management for over 20 years. I took a Thanksgiving off. I worked for Walmart for a good part of those 20 years. Yeah, I see the look on your face, Mike. So you can imagine now why I definitely took a Thanksgiving off. The next day after that was November 28th. I got a phone call the next day from the tourism office asking me to go down halfway, like everybody else, or reroute my tour. So I decided it's not fair to my 10 to try to investigate a small space. I'm going to reroute. I tell my team, we're going to wing it. Obviously, I'll still move these tickets for way cheaper, by the way. And I'm going to say, let's go see what happens. I didn't even believe in the story, but I'm going to tell them what I knew. So we get up there, and before we leave, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them we were going to be investigating the female pirate Anne Bonny. So I'm like, okay, let's see what's going to happen next. I go up, I told what I knew. Somebody else goes to number 300. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know how you do that, but literally, like, just my right arm just got cold for a minute. Very weird. Yeah, film me at this point. I want to see where that cold spot's coming. Again, that's why we have these stuff, so you guys don't take my word for it. But we get up there, and somebody else hears the number 300 after I told them what I knew about Anne Bonny. I didn't know what it meant at the time, so I'm doing the research the next day. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there November 28th of 2020, the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So I've been taking you guys back up to this Powder magazine, telling you this crazy whopper of a story of a pirate. I'm a vampire guy. I'm not into pirates, I promise you. But I've read more damn books on pirates than I care to want to, just so I can try to keep this going. Everything that I will tell you once we get to that location, because we are dealing with pirate lore, is based off of at least a minimum of 2 resources from each part of the story, just so you know. I only wanted to go give you as much factual data as I possibly could. So before we leave this space, has anybody seen anything or heard anything before we actually move on? Anything coming up on your word list?
Isabella, and then Avon Street and action and noises.
Well, definitely noises coming in there. You sound like you got something that you heard of nothing.
I was just trying to look. I was listening to her.
Oh, gotcha. Jamie, anything coming up out of yours?
Not super clear.
I know, when I'm talking, it's a lot going on, yeah. And then obviously yours was on mute. Alright, so we're going to head up to the Powder magazine, and we're going to see what's going on up there. If anything else, you're going to learn a whole hell of a lot about pirates. I am going to tell you that that last location is a hit or miss. So we actually had some really good stuff that came out of the Pinckney Mansion site. Hopefully we're going to get the same kind of luck when we're up there, because again, we're rolling the dice of if she's actually going to be there, because she's actually said to be seen all over town. So let's head up to this Powder magazine and let's go see if we can capture her from that.
You want me to keep recording?
Yeah, you can if you want to.
I just like it.
I agree.
I just think it's cool. I just want to find some out.
There's something. Would you?
Let's stay back a little bit. So now we're talking about it.
I agree. This is cool.
So cool. The sky? No.
Now it's. This is a church I expect.
Slave. I heard
I did hear that. Yeah.
Alright. You guys can have a seat if you want to. That's part of the reason why I like to come up to the wall if we can. So, oh, everybody's taking a campfire.
No. For seats.
As long as my neck doesn't get touched.
You guys said that you may have heard something?
Slave.
Wow.
Yes.
I heard black. Eliza. Balance. Demeanor.
Here's the weird thing about Eliza, and why some of you might not think that that's actually relevant here. The husband, Charles Pinckney, that we talked about earlier, is buried across the street. We've
Holy
actually
cow.
been getting more and more of things relatable to Eliza over here. And again, every tour stops up at that area. That's why I let them kind of have it. What's also weird about, we're going to be talking about pirates, and we have the word black. What's the first thing you think of?
Blackbeard.
Blackbeard.
And the word slave would be relevant here as well. Why? Because most pirates were actually rescued slaves, believe it or not. So, again, these are truths that you can find. So, these are things that I find all the time.
Timmons.
What'd you get?
I got Timmons Contracting and I forget the other one. Dang. It's another word.
It's okay. Who has the recordable one? Kelly, is that you? Yes. That's your tag. Your lanyard actually has a red tag on it, so I know which one's recordable. So, Jamie's does not. Alright, so, welcome to the Powder Magazine, everybody. Did everybody notice the crosses on this building as you were approaching?
Yes.
So those are not crosses, just so you guys know. Those are earthquake bolts. Earthquake bolts, the gist of those
Stop, that's
is that
so
they're
cool.
turnbuckles. So in the event that we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886 that I talked about at the very beginning, you can turn those turnbuckles and it's supposed to straighten the building back up if there's any damage.
What?
It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. The only reason I bring these up is because these are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston actually put in, because this is the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. So, we talked about the Charlestown walls earlier, right? When I told you we crossed over where the wall was. This street right here is where that wall stood. So we are still literally just inside the original Charlestown walls. It went up past this gunpowder magazine and started going south, which would be to your right, locking the gunpowder magazine into the corners on purpose in the event that it gets hit from a pirate ship or Revolutionary warship from the water 3 blocks away. Those cannonballs, first off, are going to have a hard time going through the 32-inch thick walls, because that's how thick they are. We're going to pretend that it does, and it actually goes through and blows up the gunpowder. There's sand underneath those red clay shingles that you guys see that is designed to go up in the air with the explosion and fall to put out on the fire of the gunpowder explosion if it gets attacked.
What?
Yeah, the sand is still there because sand doesn't disintegrate. So, the other weird thing about that is that's another great idea, but that doesn't work either. So we had another powder magazine closer to the battery. It did get hit because it's closer to the water. If you know our geography of the peninsula, the sand went up and the building burned to the ground. It just doesn't exist. This one's just never been attacked. So this is actually a great cheap spot to actually get out of our heat or our cold. It's a good $5 to spend so you can learn about the 7 wars or the 1 rebellion that it actually served in. So we are here because this building is a familiar. It's kind of like using a toy to attract a child first. So we don't have many buildings this old, and Anne Bonny started her pirate career and came to Charlestown at the same time that this building was being constructed. So this building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Not at all. 10 years, small building. So right in the middle of it, 1708. Try to follow me. There's a lot of twists on this one. Kelly's going to lean back. She forgot her pillow. So, sorry, I love to tease, guys. I hope you guys picked up on that.
Good.
So with that, 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress is her mother. Are you guys with me so far?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the 3 of them are running away from his wife. How angry was she? Just saying. They left the country from Ireland, came here. They land in Georgetown, which is between us and Myrtle Beach, so you guys pass through on your way down. Dad buys a plantation, Mom dies pretty quickly. That means he has to send young Anne down here to sell anything from the plantation to keep things afloat. Hence why we're here. Not many familiar buildings. So, back home in Ireland, Anne was kind of a badass. They say she killed one of her servants when she was only 10 or 12 years old with a knife to the belly. Like, hardcore chick. So, fast forward. Building's done in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. Anne's going to fall in love pretty quickly. Guy number 1. Yes, I'm going to keep track because there's that many. Guy number 1 turns out to be James Bonny. You can already see where this one's going because we've already mentioned her full name. Dad doesn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica to get married. Anne Cormac becomes Anne Bonny, the most famous female pirate of the Golden Age. Now, when they get down there, this guy is not the swashbuckling, rum-drinking, kind of Captain Jack Sparrow guy that she was hoping for. This guy is a privateer, which means he's a spy for the British. This is not who she wants. He's a coward. So, a few years later, she falls in love again. Guy number 2. This guy is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is the real Jack that they based Captain Jack Sparrow off of, just so you know. Calico Jack has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of it. You can't put a girl on the crew because they're bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and hide your gender, then you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy to keep her hidden from his wife back home in Ireland. She's like, whatever, I'm a pirate, let's go. Most of us are adults, let's put it, we'll keep it PG-13. Putting 2 to 2 together, being a female in his quarters, she's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate guy on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So, he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby, these are friends of mine, they'll help you out, come back later, we'll figure it out together. She goes and has the baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to this child. Again, pirate lore, lost in legend. However, she is dressed like a female. She doesn't give a damn anymore about hiding her gender. This makes Jack pretty angry, and while she was away giving birth to his child, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. Anne's gonna go flirting, because that's what Anne does. Guy number 3. Guy she's flirting with turns out to be a female dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females doing the exact same thing on the same ship. Her name is Mary Read. Her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We're never going to know for certain. But the British find out where they are. They send their entire fleet of ships to come take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks because they probably don't know how to use the cannon jet. And obviously, a fleet of ships is going to take down 2 ladies with 1-bullet flintlocks. So as they're being arrested, she looks at her captain in bow, Calico Jack, and says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." Told you this chick was badass, right? So, the judge, his name is Nicholas as well. So if you hear or see my name here, it's relative in one of 3 ways. We'll see how it actually pops up. He wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly, after he's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates who wouldn't fight. So, the 2 ladies go in front of Judge Nicholas and basically reveal their gender. He doesn't care that they're female. He's still going to hang them. "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they said, claiming to be pregnant because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. They're trying to save themselves one last time. He says fine. He delays the hanging. He sends them both back to jail. And Dad is still here in the Charlestown area with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because yes, we're going to count Mary Read. We don't know for certain. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Yes, very abrupt ending. Told you, factual as much as I possibly can.
Wow.
As far as Mary Read goes, she dies a year later in 1721 in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. I'm sure it was nasty and gross. So, I only left out 2 things here. I'm not going to assign questions. This is a free-for-all. You guys all know what you're doing by now. As far as your spirit boxes, the only 2 things I left out that I know I can prove for certain are the names of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the name of the father and his mistress, and the name of Calico Jack's ship. So, everything else is fair game. But, when we started this tour, I told you there was a heated warning of people passing out on my tours. I always tell this story here because it's relevant to where we are. So here, let me take 1 more minute of your time before I have us spread out in this location. Back in September of last year, I brought my group to the back where that ivy wall is, which is where I normally go. And the kid next to me goes white as a ghost. It was a nice cool night. It was a little bit cooler than this, and he starts to drop. I have to pick him up by his armpit, and his boyfriend picks him up from the other side of him. And we have to, so he doesn't hit his head on the ground. We bring him over to this wall. He has a seat. We get him some water. He's feeling better. I then tell the story. It's important to know that they don't know what you guys now know about Anne Bonny, at least the story at least. After I tell the story and spread everybody out, they pull me aside and say, "Nick, we gotta tell you, we are 2 transgender males," meaning I had 2 females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary in the story.
What?
On my tour. And it made complete sense to them as to why one of them passed out the minute we entered this space. These are the uncanny things that I see all the time. This is why I gave that heated warning. I again, it's not the only instance that's ever happened. Probably the most uncanny and relative to where we are. Okay? Bug?
It's a bug or
Probably a little cattail sticking out of there. No, you're good. I thought you were charging me. I'm like, what'd I do? I went into defense pirate mode. Y'all see that? So with this space, as far as cameras go, you guys can go to the front of the powder magazine. So have some fun. The only thing that I ask is that you don't interrupt the other tours. The other tours like to stop in front, tell a little bit of the history of the location, and they move on. So just kind of wait your turn, but you can put your cameras right inside the front gate of that. But for the most part, we're going to investigate this side of this lot and the front of the powder magazine itself. EMF, if we get anything in this location, I'll be super stoked. This is the location where we asked Aunt Bonnie the color of her hair, and she gave it to us on your device. So you have that array of color. Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, like, and I've never seen that color come up on demand before. So I'm sure you can guess where that's going. Her being an Irish pirate. I would definitely get that white button pushed in. Cole, definitely go ahead and unmute yours. Definitely get lots of pictures in here, Jalila, but keep an eye on your other device too. Let me know if you get any colors, and Mike, if you get any numbers at all, I want to know what they are. But the closer you guys get to the sidewalk, the parking meter comes into play again. So kind of keep that in mind.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you say any number at all, I mean, it's been sitting steady between 2.8 and 3.0 something.
You will get up to a full. So again, steady reading or rhythm or pattern to me. Probably. Yeah, it's a pretty steady coloring on there, so I still consider that a rhythm. So just so you know, and I count that, obviously I look for rhythm and pulses, but that the same color or the same number is still a rhythm because it's just staying still. So, but yeah, let's get into this. Let's spread out a little bit.
No, I had jeans.
We'll let us know what's going on within 5 minutes. Again, it's a hit or a miss. If anything, we'll take a walk of the story. So,
Let's go right over here.
No, over here where he said the guy passed out.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. Alright, what's our first question to Anne? You have to say her name.
This is so nuts. This is cool as shit.
Alright, you ready? Go.
I gotta keep you here.
Alright.
And
Hey, Anne.
we're here to talk to you, alright? Nothing crazy.
Do you want to talk back? Hey, Anne, do you want to talk to us?
And Bonnie, we want to ask you a lot of questions.
Come over here. Hey, Anne, do you want to talk to us?
And we heard that 2 kids passed out here. Did you do that?
Everyone?
How many?
Hold on. Anne, are you around us?
Rain?
Rain. Yeah. Now?
What if it's sunny?
Let's go over here.
Jesus?
Jesus.
Stop. I just got the chills. Hardcore.
Hey, Anne. Are you here? Hey, Anne. What was it like being a pirate?
How long were you a pirate for?
Anne, how long were you a pirate?
Did you do?
Anne, what's it like being on the sea?
We haven't really heard a whole lot besides Jesus.
okay. You're going to get a lot of religious terms here.
Oh my god, that makes so much sense.
What questions should we ask? What do you recommend?
Maybe see if we can get an answer this way. Ask Anne what color her hair was.
And what color was your hair?
I mean, you obviously know the answer is red.
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't start wearing a bonnet.
I hear wearing something. Hopefully it's on there.
I heard
I will
wearing
tell
a
you this,
bonnet.
I've only had this thing like 2 months.
Really?
So the second night we're using it, I just told the Anne Bonny story. The word pirate comes out as I'm wrapping everything up. The person was standing next to that thermal imaging person, and we caught it clear as day. And it was the only word. It wasn't like it was part of like, and listen to the Pittsburgh Pirates, like a baseball game. It was more like pirate, like plain as day.
That's crazy.
That's why I was like,
I'm so hardcore into this stuff.
I
dude.
love this stuff.
This is like the first thing we had to do when we came here.
What other questions you got? I don't know what else to ask her.
I mean, you
How,
can go
how
with-
long? How long were you a pirate?
Anne, how long were you a pirate?
It was Anne Bonny, right?
That was her married name.
Wearing a bonnet. Would that make
Wearing
sense?
something, but her name was Bonnie.
Hmm.
Like V-O-N.
Anne, how long were you a pirate?
Red.
Red.
Stop.
There it was.
Welcome to my
Stop.
No way! That's crazy.
And Bonnie, where are you from?
Baltimore.
Stop it.
No, she's not from Baltimore, right?
Wait, hold on. Let's stay here for a second.
Hey.
Hey, what's up? Here, stay. I'm just trying to.
Anne. Anne, how many people have you killed? And how many people have you killed?
Do you want to go over by the wall now? There's nobody there. And how many people have you seen killed?
Anne. Hello? Alright, let's ask this. Anne, what was your parents' names?
Why don't you sit down and I sit here and record you? Religious. Did you religious?
Yeah, I did.
Right when we got to the cross?
Yeah, I don't like that. I got the
Stop
chill.
it. Stop it.
Do we sit down?
Yeah, sit down. I'll record you.
Alright. Anne.
Picture?
Talk to me. We. Anne. Juicy cow.
Juicy cow?
That's what I heard. I heard juicy. Anne.
What?
Anne, did you like Jack?
No. That was.
Oh, that's crazy.
This is so weird.
Alright, give me a good question. Anne, what happened to your kid and where did...
What happened to the baby?
Yeah, Anne, what happened to the baby? What happened to Jack's baby?
And Bonnie, we were trying to figure out what happened to Jack's baby.
Anne, what happened to Jack's baby?
Give him a second to answer. I'm gonna sit next to you.
Yeah.
Can we scoot down here? And Bonnie, feel what? I'm in here.
We are.
We will. We will rock you. And Bonnie, what? We burn?
Burn? Burn the baby?
She's talking.
And what happened to Jack's baby?
And Bonnie, what happened to your child?
I heard burn.
Did you kill your child? And Bonnie, what happened to your child?
I think it said burn.
That's what it sounded like.
Alright, Cole, so you guys get anything?
I mean, we asked her
Well, we
what
heard-
happened to her child, and she said burn. I heard burn.
It sounded. It heard like "We Burn," like the
Like
song,
we burn.
like "Girl on Fire" kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the one that died. We asked her what happened to her and Jack's child.
Yeah, burn.
So, again, I can't prove it, but you had a direct answer. So,
You'll hear it on this thing. It was as clear as day.
Burn.
And then there was Jesus over there, which was.
Jesus,
told
we got
you that.
religious.
no. Yeah, we always get religious terms while we're
Well, we heard the word religious.
You got Jesus? That's where we got
It
Jesus.
was like
Walker.
it was like a preacher.
Yeah. Yep.
And we do get like words like preacher, pastor, Bible will show up here a lot. So, I mean, it's all because of St. Philip's behind us. But again, religious terms are really, really common here. All right, so let's definitely go ahead and mute yours, and we'll leave yours on. I'm just curious. So, and I'm just going to put it out there. If you want to show us what color your hair is, I know you already told us, but I definitely want you to show us by touching the middle stick out of that black box. So, Kelly kept hearing the word picture that showed up.
We heard picture
We heard
too.
picture. We heard picture.
How many times did you hear it?
I heard it at least 3 times. I heard it when I first came in here, and then I heard it over and over again.
No, we heard it like twice.
We heard it
definitely
twice over
picture,
there.
Yes.
So, here's why you guys heard the term picture. I'm going to set my bag by you. Is that cool?
That's fine.
So, normally, like in wintertime, things are a little bit slowed down and there's not so many other tours around, and I might only have 4 to 6 people in my group, so I will take them across the street to show them why all the other ghost tours stop at that cemetery, and it's kind of like a last hurrah. And I let them have it because it's a show and tell. But the fact that you guys were hearing the term picture among different locations, I mean, you guys all heard it as far as spirit boxes. The story is a little something like this. There's a young lady, I'm going to brief it for you just because they're making it some big drama, whatever. Young lady dies in 1888 by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. The only thing I will tell you about Sue Howard Hardy, and as far as ghost hunting goes, her initials. We already talked about Ralph Isaacs. Initials mean something. Sue Howard Hardy, shh, it's cheesy, it's campy. I hate telling you, but I hear it and see it all the time. But she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. In 1987, a local photographer is taking pictures and he captures a full apparition in one of his photographs while he's developing them himself. It's 1987, so he does not have the technology that we all have to be able to figure out what's going on with this photo, so he sends it to Kodak. So Jalila, that's where we actually send our pictures to be held. So again, it's a joke because you're the one with the camera, the whole nine. So, but Kodak doesn't know what to do with this photograph either. So this photograph is cursed. I am going to show it to you, but I'm going to ask that none of you actually touch the tablet. The curse basically is to females. You'll get the same symptoms we talked about at the beginning: the headache, the dizzy, the nausea kind of mentality. But the other piece of that is if there's a pregnant female handling it, even in a digital format of a cell phone or tablet, probably not going to be a good pregnancy based on the gist of the story. I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great vacation and 9 months later I cursed their family. So I'm going to show you the photograph, but I'm going to ask that nobody touches it. I will zoom in on the apparition so you all can see it. But again, I wouldn't even have told you this story if the term picture didn't show up, especially in so many different formats. So
That's so
I'm
weird.
going to go down 2 by 2 by
That's
2
why we
so
didn't tell
everybody
you,
can
because
see
it didn't make sense.
We also did ask.
Go ahead and click the reset.
We also did
That's your
ask
apparition.
if she loved Jack, and she said no.
Pass it next to her.
I'll tell you.
This is probably another instance where the baby's buried with mom as well. So this is the full picture. And then 2 shoulders, top of her head, the baby basket next to her. It is. This is why us ghost hunters love this thing. So, but 2 shoulders, she's praying over her own grave, and then the baby basket is right next to her.
We also did ask if she loved Jack, and she said nah.
She's probably using him to be a pirate. Shoulders, top of head, baby basket next to her. Your jaw is like on the floor right now.
Ew.
So
That's so strange.
it is, but it isn't. And I get terms relative to Sue all the time. So I will hear, like, you guys, I told you about numbers earlier, so I will hear the terms like call 1-888. She died in 1888, but I didn't hear 1-888 anywhere else on the tour, and I have Sue's name. You don't call her Susan either. She will correct you. So yeah, I've gotten that several times. So when I first started doing this, I would call her Susan Howard Hardy, and something would always pop up with a Sue somewhere. Usually the one that you're holding, Joyce. So at this point, everybody. Oh, the other piece. There was something else I was excited about. So you had something else too, didn't you? Besides picture that kept popping up. But I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. You heard popping 3 times. We burn, picture. Yeah. So what you guys basically caught on the way here, like, really wasn't like diving in, but I am, except for obviously Black, Slave, Eliza was heard. So I'll be looking for clues wrapped around all of those things. And Blackbeard's real name was Edward Teach. So I always look for his name if the term Black shows up.
Word teach. When we first walked in here.
Wow.
Yes, I heard the word teach.
Wow. There you go.
It is.
I'm sorry, Samuel.
No, that's
Listen to
awesome.
my ear.
It's usually by this time, everybody's getting how to listen and how to watch. So you'll see the real-time notes always get thicker at the Powder magazine because that's when everybody's really getting used to things. I'll be honest, like, I'm super excited about what they heard on the red that came out of there. Like, all 3 of us were like,
Yeah, that
holy
was so
cow.
weird.
Like, it was pretty loud and clear.
That it was.
I can't wait for that to come through. Like, I'll probably be using that to throw on the social media pages of like, hey, we just caught this. And it was a direct answer. So let's give you the answers of what's going on here. What we just talked about with Anne Bonny. So kind of get into those answers. By the way, Anne Bonny, one of the few pictures you can find of her with a shirt on is what I'm about to show you, because she used to bare a breast to show men that the men that she just killed were just killed by a woman. So again, it's kind of hard to find a picture of her with an actual shirt on. And I get teenage boys on this tour. I don't need angry moms leaving here. So the name of her parents, William Cormack and Mary Brennan. None of you were expecting a secondary Mary.
Wait, so she killed people?
She's a pirate, dude. Of course she killed people.
All right.
She's all over it.
All right.
So again, none of you were expecting a secondary Mary. If one of you would have told me you heard Mary, you would have automatically assumed it was Mary Reed, the friend/lover. But Mary Brennan was the mom, Mary Reed was the friend. I also like to show you Calico Jack, by the way, just because he is based off that Captain Jack Sparrow, now that everybody knows who he is.
Isn't that a rum?
I think they might have been.
That's Captain Morgan, is what you're thinking.
Calico Jack.
Calico Jack is actually a bar off the Florida Keys. Calico Jack was named after the jackets he wore. They were stolen from the British captains that he killed, hence the name Calico Jack. So again, the name of his ship was the Kingston. Am I expecting Kingston to actually show up on a spirit box? Not necessarily, unless it's coming from a disembodied voice. But the word king would actually suffice here if you were asking the direct question. So again, I just like to at least give you guys the picture of who this guy actually was that she fell in love with, and she was part of his ship. You guys were an amazing group, by the way. So some of the groups I've had over the past couple of weeks have been, I had some Debbie Downers, I had some drag husbands, you know, that kind of thing. But you guys all seemed to like really be in tune with what was happening. So thank you for that. That was really cool. And Jalila, we're going to be testing your photography skills tomorrow morning. She's like, oh no. So what's going to happen from here is I'm going to start collecting devices, and I'm going to set this back up here just so I can put everything away. I'm actually going to give you guys my card, so that way you guys can actually check out the website ahead of time, and you have a point of contact of how to get a hold of me when you guys find stuff in your data. Remember, everything you did tonight, is going to be in that full set of data. So I'll leave 2 with you these, Miss Jamie.
Thank you.
No problem. And then, gentlemen, I'll leave 2 with you.
Thank you.
But this way you guys can get a hold of me of whatever you guys find, because I'm only going to go through it for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have, you know, all the reading I'm going to give you, plus all of your media that you got to watch. Like, you got a good 12 to 14 hour day ahead of you. You know, just so you guys know. You guys paid me to go to work. That's kind of how this goes.
That's awesome.
All right, I am going to start. Jasmine, your camera goes first because it has its own pockets. Nice work, by the way. Nice and steady. Should be a nice, long video. Yeah, you got a lot. Let's take the camera. And then Cole, I'm going to take the your spirit box because it goes in the same pocket as this guy. Oh, I did not show you guys the crazy evidence. Before I truly pack up the bag, don't let me forget to show you what I caught here with this camera, because it is truly amazing stuff. Sorry.
What'd you think, Mom?
Like if you guys were blown away from what you caught in real time.
Oh, no.
This has been everything.
You guys can ask me a million questions, by the way. I'm good with it.